Warhorse, written by Lee Hall and Richard Curtis. Exterior, Devon, England, a summer's day in 1912. The bucolic magnificence of the Devon countryside. We fly low over the high, thick hedges untouched for hundreds of years, the thick, verdant countryside in all of its splendour, ancient woodlands, fields of corn, and finally a paddock in a typical Devonshire dale. We come to rest beside three farmers standing over a pregnant mare. The mare is in distress. She's about to give birth. The farmers calm the mare and tend to her gently with the assurance and authority. We pull back to see Albert, a 15-year-old farm boy, watching the whole drama with delight from the paddock gate.
Come on, easy girl, easy.
The men hold the mare firmly, but clearly this is a difficult birth.
This is a stubborn one, huh?
There we go. Who's a clever girl?
Moments later, the summer's sun glints off the wet, sticky hide of the foal, Joey. Red hide, 4 white socks, and a distinctive white cross on its forehead. Soon the creature is attempting its first clumsy steps. It is both awesome and comical to see the newborn creature struggle to its feet, but eventually he succeeds. Title, Warhorse. Exterior, paddock field, Devon, various. We follow Joey's progress over the course of the first year. His initial fearfulness, his connection with his mother, the intimacy of their relationship. As Joey gets strong, they run together, frolicking gaily in the last dregs of summer, Albert looking on. Joey notices him at the fence and they share a moment of connection. Spring. Flowers are beginning to sprout by the hedgerows. Our boy Albert runs into the field. He takes an apple from his pocket. He holds it out tentatively. Joey approaches Albert with suspicion, and Albert greatly encourages him. His mother paws the ground and neighs at Joey. He turns and runs over the field at her beck and call. Albert tosses the apple to himself ruefully and watches in awe as Joey races away to his mother. He is a magnificent 1-year-old. His distinctive red coat is gleaming. Now it is clear that he is half thoroughbred. He runs quickly around the field, enjoying his own power and strength. Later, the 3 farmers open the gate and come into the field. Both Joey and his mother instinctively canter over to the 2 men, expecting food. The 3 men gently greet the horses and pet them. Then we see one man has a noose made of a rope. He slips it round Mum's neck. She pulls back. Joey is shaken and bewildered, but before he knows what's happening, the second farmer is trying to get a similar rope around his neck. Joey balks and pushes the farmer aside, distressed to see his mother tethered. The farmer grabs Joey again and struggles with him, enlisting the help of the second farmer. With some effort, they get the rope around his neck and calm him down.
Easy does it, easy does it. Come on, steady does it.
Unused to being tethered, Joey pulls at the rope, but the farmers are solid and firm. They gently lead Joey and his mother across the field to the gate and out onto the road. The whole road becomes overtaken by a flock of sheep on their way to the market. In the distance, we hear the bustle of market day. Exterior, the market, the same. The farmers lead Joey and his mother through the chaos of the market and into an auction pen, where they found themselves amongst a horde of pigs, sheep and cows. Joey is agog at all of these creatures and all the life he has no idea existed. The farmers lead the horses into a stall to await the auction. Joey is bewildered by all the noise. Buttressed against a couple of mules and a cow, he's uncomfortable in this tight space. An auction worker holds out a clipboard for the farmer.
Morning, Pop. Put your mark here. Good luck.
Exit Joey's pen the same. 2 men approach the pen.
Get the colt.
One man grabs Joey and pulls him out of the pen. Suddenly there is a look of horror on his face. His terrified mother realises that they are being separated. Joey panics and desperately tries to get back to his mother. He rises up, throwing the man who is leading him aside. Joey is out of control. The man regains control of Joey.
Whoa, whoa!
He pulls Joey away from his mother, who lets out a heart-wrenching cry, paws the ground and crashes her foreleg against the fence. Joey remains disorientated in the midst of the market day chaos.
Easy.
Interior, main auction ring, the same. The auction ring is full of people of all shapes and sizes. There is a sense of celebration and busyness about the market day. We can concentrate on 2 men. Ted Narracot, dad, in his 40s. Clearly both the cares of the world and alcohol have worn him down before his time. And Easton, his more solid friend. Both are working farmers. Just behind Si is his 15-year-old son, Andrew. Ted has a drink in his hand. They all look at Joey, bridling against the men who are trying to hold him.
Oh, that's a beauty.
Forget it, Ted. He's half thoroughbred and not got a day's work in him.
He points to a plough horse next to Joey.
Now there's your ticket.
In contrast to Joey, the solid and bulky plough horse stands like a rock, but Dad remains fixated on Joey.
But look at him, Si. Look at that creature.
Indeed, Joey is magnificent, his power clearly emerging because of his upset.
Don't be daft. You need something solid to plough a field.
He's fixed on Joey.
Yeah, but he's something else, that one.
The auctioneer announces the start of the auction.
All right, gentlemen, settle down, settle down. Horses on my right, men with money in their pockets on my left. It's the perfect combination. Is Fred Goddard here?
Yes, I's here.
Good. More money than sense. Dave Hill?
I'm here, yes.
Bugger off, you tight bastard. You've been coming here for 20 years, never bought so much as a pork scratching.
Mm.
The crowd are loving all of this. Dad notices a figure across the ring. Lyons, clearly a man of money. You can see something light up in Dad's eyes, a combination of dislike and alcohol. Joey is led into the auction pen.
Okay, first up today, a gorgeous young horse. Prettiest thing I've seen since my wife on our wedding day. Let's get going, shall we? Who wants this wonderful creature?
But nobody bids.
1 guinea.
1 guinea, 1 guinea, 1 guinea.
I thought you needed a plough horse, Mr. Narracot.
Any advance on 1 guinea? Any advance on 1 guinea?
Joey is still trying to get back to his mother. A voice from the crowd pipes up.
2 guineas. 3.
Ted Narracot, that's completely the wrong animal.
Lyons whispers to his son, David, 15, who's next to him. David eyes Joey skeptically.
So, Easton, I'm not going to let that bastard see me off. 5 guineas. 6.
Oh, for the love of...
Joey is straining to get to his mother now. The men are pulling him back.
7. Greedy sod thinks he can just buy anybody.
They continue bidding.
Hey,
Stop it. He's your landlord. You can't be picking fights with him.
Lyons looks over. There's now a tension in the crowd as they sense a battle royale for the horse.
10 guineas.
He spoke to Ted.
You haven't got the money. Let's go home. Let's have a pint.
11 guineas, sir, from a man as good as a man as any in this town.
They all look at Lyons in his suit and bowler hat.
Do I hear 12 guineas? 12 guineas?
That's top price for a working animal. Ted, save it for the Shire.
There are big days and there are small days. Which will it be?
Do I hear any advance on 11 guineas?
All eyes are on Lyons and his son. David is 15 and smartly dressed.
Just let him go, Dad. I don't care for him. He's too jumpy.
But Lyons isn't listening to David. He's looking hard at Ted.
Shall we say 25?
Crowd gasps. This is clearly personal.
Well, he's got you there. Nice try, Ted.
You were great, Mr. N. Give him a run for his money.
When he looks at Ted, Ted's eyes are locked into the eyes of his rival.
Going, going.
30 guineas.
Total
Total
silence. He stares hard at Lyons, who simply smiles, raises an eyebrow, tips his hat and walks away. It dawns on Dad that he's won the auction. He breaks into a sweat.
30 guineas, 30 guineas. Going, going. Gone to Mr. Ted Narracot.
He bangs his gavel. It's a done deal.
What have you done, Ted? What have you done?
But Dad doesn't acknowledge Si. Moments later, Ted stands staring at Joey, who looks back. Ted holds his reins numbly, accepts his receipt from the auction man in a kind of a daze. Suddenly, Lyons appears at Ted's shoulder.
Quite a beast there. But what are you going to do with him on a working farm? I hope you got the rent, Ted. I'll be round for it when it comes due.
Dad does not acknowledge Lyons. Lyons smiles and walks away with his son David and his cronies. Si shakes his head at Dad.
You're a fool, Ted, and our Rosie'll never forgive you.
Exterior, Narracot's farm, sunset. Rosie Narracot kneels in her garden, digging up some carrots when she sees Ted returning. Dad walks down the hedged lane as the sun sets, pulling Joey with him. His bad leg always moving slightly to the side. Rosie Narracot looks on in horror and bewilderment at Joey and then at Dad. She's a good-looking, intelligent woman, but clearly her life is always hard.
What have you done?
Dad stands shamefaced as Albert runs out of the house to join them.
That's Mooney's colt.
You were supposed to buy a plough horse.
You bought him?
What you pay for him?
Albert is totally taken by the horse.
How much, Ted Narracot?
We won't tell you a lie. No, I would love to. 30 guineas.
30 guineas?
She is stunned. She looks at Ted and he just nods.
He's not worth 10. Are you out your mind? What about the rent?
He's a strong one, Rosie. Look at the way he holds his head.
How the hell are we going to pull anything with that? Ted, you have to take him back. You have to take him back right now.
No.
You have to get down on your knees and beg for our money back.
Joey bridles at the raised voices, but Albert takes the rope and tries to calm him.
No, please don't take him back.
Suddenly, we see Ted's dejection. He's a man lost.
We can't take him back till he's broken in.
How are you going to train a horse with that leg?
I'll train him.
No, you stay out of this, Albie. You don't know nothing about horses.
Please, Mum, please let me. I can do it.
We have to keep him. We've no choice.
Right. Well, you've got 1 month to break him in, or I'm taking him back myself.
Turns to the house, but then...
How did you get 30? What other fool bid you up high?
It was Lyons.
Rosie Narracot turns back towards the house, then stops, dazed, speaking almost to herself.
We're gonna lose everything. After all we've been through, we're gonna lose it all.
She turns back to the others, the weight of the mistake heavy on their shoulders, but Albert quickly steps forward.
Don't worry, Mum. I'll raise him, and I'll raise him good.
Well, you better. Go on, get started. See if a child can undo what your fool of a father's done to this family of ours.
Rosie Narracot storms into the house. Albert immediately goes to stroke Joey, but the nervous horse draws back uncomfortably. Dad leads him off, drunk and bewildered, across the yard to the barn. Exterior, stables, later on. Albert loads some oats into a bucket and approaches Joey in the field.
Right, let's make a start then.
As Albert approaches, Joey nervously runs in circles, then stops on a dime, looking at Albert suspiciously.
It's oats. Very tasty, that is. It's beef and gravy to us.
Albert squats down. He shows the food. Joey catches the scent on the air, but hesitates and shies away.
Come on.
This time, Albert takes a new tact, almost turning his body fully away from Joey, but keeping the bucket extended. Albert slowly backs towards Joey, speaking gently all the time.
I bet you're missing your mother. Look at you. First time without your mum. First time away from home. But you're not alone, are you? In fact, 'cause I'm here.
Feeling safer, Joey moves towards the bucket of oats and starts to eat.
It's all right. It's all right.
Albert reaches out his hand and touches Joey, and with a slight start, the horse relaxes into Albert's hand, feeling safe with the boy. Albert stares at the distinctive white cross on Joey's forehead. Joey calms.
I'm going to call you Joey. Understand? Joey. That's you. And I'm Albert. It's all right. You're mine now. You're mine.
Albert strokes Joey's forehead. Joey lifts his head and the two stare at each other in close proximity. Exterior, farmyard, the next day. Ted, with a hangover, hobbles off to work in the fields. As he reaches the gate, Harold the goose snaps at his heels. Ted dismisses him with a stare and heads for the stables. Farmyard day. The training episode. Albert walks Joey around the yard on the rope. It all seems to be going well. Mum looks on. Albert is clearly proud of his progress. Exterior, paddock, another day. Albert's friend Andrew Easton sits on a rock with an apple in his hand to watch the training. Albert sets Joey in a spot and tells him to wait.
Whoa, I want you to stay there, Joey. Stay. That's it. Good boy. That's it. You've got it.
Of course, when Albert walks away, Joey follows. A game of Grandma's footsteps ensues as Albert patiently places Joey and then walks away.
Hey, look at him, Albie. He's playing Grandma's footsteps.
Albert patiently leads Joey back to his starting position.
Right. Come on, Joey. Back you go. Come on, back you go. You're all right. That's it. Good boy. Right. You've got to stay there. Understand?
Albert walks away again.
That's it. Good boy. You've got it. Good boy.
Finally, Joey stays put. Andrew smiles, impressed.
Good boy, good. Now call him.
Albert.
Now call him. Whistle.
Come on, Joey. Come on.
Albert whistles like an owl. Joey
Woo,
stands
woo.
still.
Woo, woo, woo. You can come now, Joey.
He whistles again. Joey remains still.
Woo, woo, woo.
Don't think he fancies your owls.
Albert walks back to Joey, frustrated.
No, I read it in a story. It's how the Indians used to summon their horses.
He gently strokes Joey's nose.
Now, Joey, when I whistle, you've got to come. Understand?
My dad had a dog who stayed when you called him. He used to run up behind you when you weren't looking and,
He's not a dog. He's just puzzling it through.
Albert runs further away than before and whistles.
Woo, woo,
After a moment, Joey trots over to him. Andrew smiles broadly.
Brilliant. Look at you.
With the basis established, Albert begins to train Joey to react to the owl whistles without his prompting. It's not all easy going. Sometimes Albert makes progress and sometimes not. A quick montage. Rosie Narracot fills a bucket pump, then promptly spills it when Joey trots past her in response to an owl whistle. She calls off, frustrated.
LB.
Dad heads out to the field with a rake on his shoulder. There's an owl call and Joey trots past him in the background. Dad sees Albert welcome Joey to the haystacks, stroking his nose affectionately. Dad walks on, his expression inscrutable. Joey trots up a path, pursuing another owl call. After several more calls, he can't spot Albert until he cranes his neck up and sees Albert sitting in a nearby tree. Albert laughs. Interior farmhouse later. Lyons is there with his son David and his unlikable cronies. He holds a meagre handful of cash. Dad and Mum look chastened. The mood is sombre.
There's only 15 here.
The rest will come.
You know by rights I could take this farm back today, don't you? I'm a great believer in my rights.
It will come.
If you drank less beer and bought fewer horses, you might be able to look your landlord in the eye, Narracot.
Lyons begins loading up his ledger into his bag.
I said I'll pay you. We got to plant the bottom field, yeah?
Bottom field's rock hard. Only stones down there.
No, we're going to plough it. Just give me till the autumn. I'll pay every penny I owes you, with interest.
How are you going to plough it? Not with that fancy animal of yours.
He'll do it.
You'll not get that one in a harness, let alone pulling a plough, even a drunk on a Tuesday night. You know that. And I can't wait for the money. There's a war coming.
Ted stands up from his chair, resolute.
I promises you that field will be ploughed. We'll plant it with turnips and the money will be yours when harvest comes.
Rosie Narracot interjects, desperate.
Please, sir, please.
Lyons takes his time. He looks at them both, Ted and Rosie, almost beaten.
Very well. If that fancy ploughs that field, I'll give you till October to set things straight.
Lyons heads for the door, but Albert stands in his way.
What if he doesn't?
I'll take the horse on the day he fails. And I'll take your father's farm and give it to working men who can hold their pints and hold their heads high in decent company.
Lyons tries to move past, but Albert grabs his arm.
No, please, please. Sir, you can't do that.
Now, lad. What? Are you bladdered as well? Head Narracot, I got you down in my book.
Albert knows he has to back down. Lyons walks past him and leaves with David and his cronies. Exterior, the Narracot farm, the same. Harold the Goose attacks Lyons and his men. Quickly pile into his car and drive off. Ted stands in the kitchen, immobile with upset. Exterior, stables, moments later. Ted throws open the stable door, jerks the harness from the wall, throws open Joey's stall and starts to lunge at the horse. Albert runs in and tries to stop him.
You can't harness him.
He's got to be collared.
Dad starts to grapple with Joey, desperately flailing in an attempt to get the harness onto Joey. Joey is completely confused and frightened.
No, you can't. Look, you're scaring him. Dad, you're scaring him.
Desperately,
He can't take a plough.
Joey tries to push Dad out of the way. Dad, frustrated by this, hits Joey hard with the harness.
He's got to plough.
He won't be able to do it. He's too young. He's not even been backed yet.
Joey rears up and kicks Dad, who falls to the ground.
Ted!
Albert grabs Joey's bridle. Joey wrestles with Albert.
It's all right, boy. It's all right. It's all right. All right.
Ted is mad with anger and frustration and in pain. He staggers to his feet and leaves. Albert calmly calms Joey down. Rosie Narracot returns the harness to its hook.
I knew this would happen soon, as I laid my eyes on him.
But then she notices Dad has returned. He has a gun.
Ted, no! Ted, no!
He's worth nothing to me if he won't take the collar. He's not worth a damn thing.
Dad?
He grabs the rifle, but Dad shoves him away.
Move aside.
Dad raises the rifle, but Albert wrestles for it again.
Dad, stop!
Furious with frustration, Dad throws Albert to the ground and takes aim at the horse. Rosie Narracot quickly pulls the gun aside.
You shoot that horse and we have nothing.
Ted whips the gun back towards Joey to find Albert standing between them, right in front of the gun's barrel. For a second, we think that Albert will be inadvertently shot.
No!
Dad pauses his finger just in time, and Albert gently holds the barrel of the gun. He speaks calmly.
You're all right what you said, Dad. He'll do it. You told Lyons. He'll plough that field, and he will. You'll see. It'll show you. We'll show you. We'll get it done.
Dad looks at him, frozen. Rosie Narracot eases the gun away from him.
Let go. Let go.
And she hands it to Albert, telling him,
Go back to the house.
As Albert leaves, Ted takes out his flask, but Rosie takes it from him gently. He doesn't resist.
Here, here. Some days are best forgotten. Today ain't one of them. Come on.
They exit the stable together, leaving Joey in his stall. Interior or exterior stables, dawn. Albert walks towards the stables and enters, and talks to Joey as he prepares the harness.
How are you today, Joey? I don't know much about life, boy, but I do know that there are big days and there are small days. And most days are small days, and well, they don't matter they don't matter much to anyone. But this, well, this is a big one. This is our big day. Well, it's cold out there. So I'm going to take this off. Well, if it's tough for you, it should be tough for me too.
He's left in just some loose-fitting white shirt.
Now, I'm going to teach you how to plough, and you're going to learn. Is that understood? And then we can be together, which is how I believe things are meant to be.
Joey instinctively balks, but Albert is stern with him.
Boy, steady boy, here we go, here we go.
As he approaches Joey with the harness, Harold the goose enters the stable to watch. My favourite character now, that one. Albert gently and slowly puts the harness over him, his own neck and shoulders to demonstrate. In fact, I'll be back in a second to demonstrate.
That,
Carry on.
that's it. See? You've got it. You've got it. Good boy. There.
Harold honks his approval. There you go.
Yay!
Yes!
Harold honks his approval. Albert leads Joey out across the yard through the broken gate. Exterior lower field the same. It's a grey day as they walk across the ploughed fields towards the huge lower field. They come to a rusty primitive plough left in the grass. Albert looks around the field. It is overgrown. It seems to go on forever. Even if Joey was a plough horse, this would be a heavy task. Si Easton and Andrew Easton stroll up the road to watch.
Too large, too rocky, matted with grass roots. Even a sturdy plough horse would never manage it alone.
Yeah, he will, I say.
You'd swear he'd sprout wings and fly if Albert had told you so.
Smiles at his son.
It's a fine thing, loyal to your mate, even if he is a bit barmy. A team of two might manage it, given a month and good weather.
They're interrupted by the honk of a horn as the Lyons and David Lyons pull up in a car. Lyons and David get out. The driver remains inside.
Ted too squeamish to watch, is he?
Course he's watching.
Si nods in the direction of the house. Albert steadies Joey and starts to tie on the heavy plough. It just seems too big and bulky for Joey's sleek frame. Albert sets Joey right and fixes the plough. Lyons, David, Si and Andrew all walk towards Ted, who looks on anxiously from a nearby hedgerow. Lyons gestures at David to stay back and walks over to Ted alone. Stands beside him and begins to talk gently.
Well, you've raised him up a true Narracot, Ted. Picture of his father he is. Not a dollop of ordinary sense, but that thick stubbornness that'll lead him to insist on the impossible.
Down in the field, Albert continues to prep the plough.
Wasn't a farmer in Devon didn't admire you, myself among them. Leaving your brothers that fine farm and setting yourself at this stony patch of unpromising ground. You've fettled enough for 20 men, but with a gimpy leg and the drinking for the pain, isn't it, that you drink? Yep, none of us could have anticipated an ending better than this. Makes me question the wisdom of the charity that urged me to rent you this place. Not only looking at you, me old pal, but that pretty little wife of yours. Thought you were a spark, she did.
Ted hasn't acknowledged Lyons for a second. He's never taken his eyes off Albert. He simply stands and walks away.
And now your son's sinking into the self-same bog that's swallowing you.
Albert has been meticulously preparing everything. Positioning Joey, checking the tethers, dragging the rusty plough to the earth. He takes his position behind the plough, throwing the rear leather harness over his own neck.
Hey, Joey, I got the collar too.
Albert gently snaps the reins. Joey doesn't move, confused by this whole affair.
Come on, boy. Walk on. That's it. Walk on. Walk on, Joey. Come on, boy. Walk on.
You'd be better off starting at the top of the hill and going down. Gravity's the only friend you're going to have today, young lad.
Walk on, Joey. Walk on. Come on, Joey. Walk on. Walk on, boy.
At the house, Rosie Narracot opens up an upstairs window to look on anxiously. Ted, standing alone by the fence, only looks at Albert.
Walk on. Come on, walk on.
Ted speaks to himself.
It'll take the whip to move him.
Just as Ted is saying this, Albert, as if hearing his father, takes a breath and then abruptly produces a whip. Joey's ears prick up. Albert, grimly determined, snaps the whip at Joey. Joey panics and bolts. The plough spins to its side, pulls Albert off his feet. Joey drags him all the way to the top of the hill, right by the farmhouse. Lyons, yelling, starts laughing and can't stop.
Bravo! You've reached the top of the hill. Off you go again, boy. You'll make even better time coming down.
He continues past Ted, laughing. Intercut. Rosie Narracot looks on from the house. He glances back at her. Her face is full of angry concern for their son. The townsfolk begin arriving, climbing on the hill to the lower field. Ted looks down, ashamed. Rosie Narracot looks back at Albert, mortified, bruised, and sitting the right plough again. Rosie Narracot moves away from the window, takes a seat, and picks up her knitting. Later, Albert has made no progress. Joey is moving, but only in a useless circle.
Good boy. Good lad. Good lad. Now walk on. Good boy.
More townsfolk clamour to the fence. Andrew calls out.
Albie, we're all with you.
Albert tries to encourage him forward, but Joey still is not moving sufficiently. The plough skips uselessly over the surface stones.
Look, look, look. The plough hasn't even cut yet.
As Albert struggles with the plough, he sees Ted walking up the hill behind the spectators. He doesn't even turn to his son. Joey strains as Albert pushes with all of his might. We sense the strain on the horse and the inappropriateness of the task, but Joey perseveres. The plough limps along.
You know, I believe we can do it, Joey. I knew when I first saw you that you'd be the best of us. That's why he bought you. He knows you've got all the courage he never had. And I knew when I first saw you that you'd be the one who'd save us.
Plough skips and Albert falls. Joey's legs buckle and he goes to his knees. Albert rushes to his side.
Whoa, whoa.
Lyons calls from the crowd as rain starts to fall.
You've got no chance, lad. He'll not turn over half an acre. Give it up now. You've done well. You've tried hard. You're more of a man than your father.
Albert examines the collar. He sees it is ripping into Joey's flesh. He grabs his shirt, tears a piece off of it, and tenderly folds it and puts it between Joey's shoulder and the collar.
Come on now, Mr. Lyons. That's a bit rough, isn't it?
Lyons shrugs.
Well, he'll destroy that horse.
The crowd's beginning to disperse. One of the Lyons' cronies holds his umbrella as he returns to his car. He passes by Ted.
I'll be over Thursday. Give you a day to close it up.
Rosie Narracot emerges from the house and heads to the fence, holding her knitting in the rain, ignoring the leaving crowds. A sympathetic neighbour holds her hand. Your wall! I'm sorry, Rosie. Lyons passes behind her, almost speaks, but then he thinks better of it. As the rain intensifies, Albert digs his toe into the wet soil and notices how it has softened. Suddenly, something flashes through Albert's mind. He leaps into action, runs through the rain to shout at Joey.
Now, boy, you've got to do it, Joey. You don't know, so I'm going to have to do the knowing for you when the rest of our lives depend on this. So get set to pull, and pull straight, and pull hard.
He races back to the plough and sets himself.
Now, boy, go!
Joey pulls firmly and finally into the inertia that is broken. The rain has softened the earth.
Walk on, Joey. Walk on. That's it. Good boy, Joey. Good boy.
Finally, the plough bites deep into the soil.
Walk on, walk on, walk on, walk on, Joey.
At the fence, Rosie Narracot looks on in amazement. Albert notices a large rock in their path. Andrew sees it too.
Go around it.
Whoa, Joey! Whoa, Joey! 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 Whoa, whoa, whoa! Joey, stop! You'll break the blade!
Albert hauls back on the reins, but Joey throws his flanks forward, straining and lurching until the plough blade splits the rock completely in half, and now the plough moves more easily through the wet ground. The ground yields. Soon Albert and Joey are making great progress, the wet earth slipping open beneath them. Andrew is loving it. He speaks in wonder.
Will you look at you?
Rosie Narracot looks very happy, a smile breaking slowly across her face. The crowd begins to return. Lyons notices and looks out from his car. He sees the plough digging through the field. Annoyed at the progress that Albert's making, he gets out of his car and walks over to Rosie Narracot with a great disdain. He says,
I've not let a child of mine slip in the mud alongside a plough blade. He could lose a foot.
Rosie Narracot brandishes her knitting needles, backing him up.
You're likely to lose an eye, Mr. Lyons, if you carry on prating me how to manage my son, or my plough, or my horse, or my field, or my farm.
Ted sits nearby, watching this exchange with silent approval. Lyons stares at her, gape-mouthed, as she turns her attention back to Albert.
Come on, Albie. Push on through.
The rain becomes torrential. Lyons turns towards the car, gestures frustrated to his driver, who runs forward with the umbrella to shield his boss from the rain. David remains on the running board watching Albert ploughing. The plough speeds through the earth. The boy and the horse are working as one. It is a moment of triumph.
Get it done, Albie, get it done.
We pull back to see they have made only the smallest dent in the enormous field. As Lyons' car passes, Ted steps forward, takes in the scene and almost smiles. Exterior, the lower field, evening. The rain has abated. Albert, soaked to the skin, sits next to Joey. They are both covered in mud. Andrew, followed by Easton, charges through the gate up to Albert. They are lifting Albert up between them, laughing. Easton planting a kiss on Albert's muddy cheek, Andrew tussling his filthy hair. When Rosie Narracot arrives with Ted, she helps and Andrew lift Albert and slings her son's arms over her shoulder, glowing with pride, crying overjoyed.
Oh, my pair of fools, my mighty fools.
As the others help Albert up, Ted tends to Joey. He looks over to his son and after a moment removes his cap and slightly bows his head. The others stagger away, supporting Albert, and Ted pats the horse and gently begins to unbuckle the harness. Interior, stables, day. Albert washes Joey and tends to the wounds and sores on his body. Rosie is putting antiseptic on Albert's wrists and shoulders. Joey bristles but is soothed by Albert's care.
You're as battered and bloodied as he is.
And where's Dad?
Still in the bottom field.
Stumbling about, I suppose.
It's not the drink, Albert. That makes him stumble.
He drinks, Mum.
Well, so might you if you've been where he's been, seen what he's seen.
Well, he don't talk to me about it.
He don't talk about it because he can't. There aren't words for some things. Come here.
Rosie stalks over to a pile of broken equipment in a corner of the stables. She rummages until she finds a water-stained brown paper parcel tied with yarn. She brushes away some of the mouse turds.
The mice have been at it. Sit down.
They sit together on a step. As she begins to untie the yarn, a change comes over her. Her irritated determination gives way to sadness. Albert comes to her and kneels beside her as gently she opens the paper. Inside there's a red and tan pennant, knotted and fringed at both ends.
Here, it's his campaign pennant. He was Sergeant, 7th Battalion Imperial Yeomanry.
Then with a great care she unfolds the sash to reveal 2 silver medals. The first with the profile of Victoria hangs from a red, blue and orange ribbon.
And that is the Queen's South Africa Medal. Every man who fought in the Boer War got one of those. But this...
She holds up the other medal, hanging from a red and black ribbon.
That's the Distinguished Conduct Medal.
She hands Albert the Distinguished Conduct Medal. He takes it, astonished.
Not Dad.
Well, it ain't mine, dear. He got that after fighting at Transvaal. After he'd been hurt, and they'd saved some of the other lads, and well, else he won't tell me either. But the first day he got home, he tossed them out. First day he could walk, he threw them straight in the dustbin. and when hear a word I said not to.
Albert nods, looking at the medal and campaign set pennant. She takes the medal back, puts it in the sash, and begins to wrap it again.
See what you've done today. You and Joey, you're chuffed up now, and so you should be, my splendid boy. It's good to be proud when you've done something good. But what he done, in Africa, whatever it was, he takes no pride in it. Hard as surely it was, and however much pain it cost him, he refuses to be proud of killing. I suppose.
She returns the things to the footlocker and closes it. Albert's confused.
I'd be proud if I'd gone off to war, if I'd gone and saved my mates, and...
Well, whether or not you think you'd do the same thing as him, think how brave he is for refusing to be proud.
Heads back to Albert, pennant in hand.
Oh, your dad makes mistakes, and he drinks to forget 'em. That's the mistakes that he's made. He never gave up, and he does that for us. And today, you showed the world it's all been worth it.
As she leaves, she drapes the pennant over Albert's shoulder.
You keep looking after Joey, and he'll always be looking after you.
Albert looks again at the pennant.
Sergeant, 7th Battalion, Imperial Yeomanry.
He's amazed and speaks to Joey.
See this, Joey? It's been through an entire war.
Albert holds the pennant in wonder.
I'm not stealing it. I'll give it back to him. Someday.
Exterior field, day. Early morning. Ted, hobbling across the furrows alone, is planting the field by hand. Exterior, Narracot Farm, Devon countryside montage. Albert and Joey are now in a meadow. They trot past the field he ploughed, now packed with a strong and sturdy crop, which Ted tends to. The sun is breaking through and Joey starts to run across the field and up a small incline. As both Joey and Albert gain confidence, they pick up speed. Albert pushes Joey on and they are faster and faster. Albert yells with the exhilaration of it all. Joey races flat out across the countryside, and Albert hanging on for dear life. Albert and Joey pull up beside a sleek red car. It's Lyons' car, being driven by David Lyons, every inch the expensively tailored rural gentry.
I'm the only boy that drives in this village. No one else drives but me.
Oh, yeah?
That's right, and this is my dad's car. You're lucky you're in it. I'm not normally allowed to drive it because it's so...
Albert urges Joey to go faster, till they're neck and neck beside the car. They're racing it. David Lyons looks to see Albert and Joey running alongside his car. He feigns disinterest. Albert glances at David, but he's much more interested in the very pretty young woman seated next to David, her hands trying to control her hair, flying in the wind. Forgetting himself momentarily, Albert stares at her, dazed. The woman turns to David.
Is he a friend of yours?
He smiles at Albert, encouraging him. David Lyons, annoyed, pushes the accelerator down and the car edges away ahead of Joey. But not for long. The sound of acceleration and Albert's eagerness to impress the young woman make Joey go faster. And again he moves out ahead of the car. The young woman grins at Albert. Up ahead, Albert sees the wall alongside of which he's been racing turns the corner, presenting him and Joey with an obstacle. Albert encouraged Joey to go faster.
Come on, boy. Let's show her how to fly.
Now they head right for the wall, but at the very last moment, Joey balks and comes to a dead standstill, sending Albert sailing over the wall. Back in the car, the girl gasps and covers her mouth. Concerned. David says nothing, but allows himself a small smile. On the other side of the wall, Albert is standing a bit battered, but unfazed.
Well, you're clearly not going to be a jumper.
Thunder starts to rumble ominously in the background. Exterior, Narracot Farm, night. Albert and Joey return, driving sheep before them. Angry storm clouds stretch to the horizon. Exterior, Narracot Farm, night. As Albert leads Joey to the stable, lightning blasts across an angry sky and the rain is falling in torrents. Interior, farmhouse, night. Another crack of thunder and a piece of wood in the roof gives way. Water gushes in. Dad rushes to support the roof as the wind forces a window open. At that moment, the door suddenly swings open with the violence of the storm, smashing against the wall. Dad and Rosie turn and there is Harold the goose, who scuttles in without his usual arrogance and hides himself in a corner.
Shoo, Harold, shoo, shoo, shoo.
The thunder cracks again and exterior lower field day. Albert and Dad walk across the field. Rosie Narracot digs through the mess. The entire crop is flat, ruined by the storms. The ground squelches beneath their feet. The whole field is a write-off.
We can try planting something else, or we could hire ourselves out to Uncle Bob.
Ted doesn't answer. He shakes his head and limps away.
How else are we going to pay Mr. Lyons' rent?
Ted doesn't turn around. Interior kitchen, evening. Rosie Narracot makes some coffee. Ted sits alone on a chair.
What are we gonna do?
Used to believe that God gave each man his fair portion of bad luck. I don't feel that anymore. I've had more than my share.
He pauses.
You'll stop loving me, Rosie, and I won't blame you when you do.
Well, I might hate you more, but I'll never love you less.
Then, somewhere in the distance, an unfamiliar sound. Exterior lane leading to the village, evening. A motorbike rumbles along the lane at a huge speed, creating a cloud of dust as it goes. The noise of the motorbike is drawing attention from all over the valley. It can be heard fields away, and everyone is drawn to the completely unheard of sound. Exterior, the village, evening. The motorbike whizzes through the village, heads turn in astonishment.
It's war. The bike. Oh, sorry. That's you, Ben.
The bike comes to a stop in the marketplace. You take my lines, it's fine. I've got so many of them. The rider takes off his goggles. Men in the village start to flock around the machine with great curiosity.
We are at war with Germany, you hear? England is at war with Germany.
Shock and amazement, the rider takes off his goggles.
They're going to ring the bells at 6 o'clock and then never ring them again until the war is over.
Everyone across England knows that their lives are about to change. Exterior farmyard, day. Dawn rises over the farm. Exterior farmyard, dawn. Albert races to the stables, excited with the campaign pennant. Interior stables, the same. As Albert enters the stables, he calls out,
Look smart, Joey lad. It's the Tavistock Fair.
Albert opens the doors and stops dead. He looks at the empty stables. Exterior, interior, kitchen or yard, day. Albert runs out. He rushes into the kitchen. His mother stares out of the window. She has been crying.
What has he done with him?
She says nothing, but her face gives everything away. Albert, in a panic, turns around and runs into the lane. Rosie Narracot tears up again. Exterior, square and market town, the same. The market square is full of military men. The Union Jack is flying up the flagpole. A group of girls has gathered to check out the army boys. Eager young men crowd a table staffed by recruiting officers.
Last name first, first name middle, middle name last.
Captain Nicholls is at the same square inspecting Joey, knowledgeably. He's a handsome, attractive, modest, upper-class man. Dad stands beside him. He checks Joey's teeth, his feet, and finally looks him straight in the eye.
Take my words for it. Finest horse in the parish. Goes like a racer. Strong, decent, very fine.
Captain Nicholls has immediately connected with Joey and puts him at his ease. Sam Perkins, a tough sergeant, is physically inspecting Joey.
No curbs, no splints, good feet and teeth. He's as sound as a bell, sir.
And how much are you charging, sir, for this strong, decent and very fine animal?
40.
I'll give you 20 and not a penny more.
20 is no good to me, Captain. 35 and he's yours.
I don't even know how he rides.
Oh, he rides splendidly. You'll be astonished, I promise you that.
His heart's in his throat, fighting back the grief.
Finest horse in all of Devon. Finest horse I ever seen.